Hello, everybody. The live stream is starting. Welcome in, welcome in. Today it is Friday, the 16th of June, 2023. My name is Kerry Holzman. It's Friday. Have I mentioned it's Friday only 3 times? Thank you guys so much for joining me. And I always try and do something sort of expensive on Fridays, for lack of a better way of explaining it. And so ever since I saw the Minisforum NAD9, I've wanted one. And well, with your contributions, it was made possible. I got the bare bones model, so we'll add our own RAM and storage to this, and we'll show you how to do that. Of course, we'll load our own operating system using VIP CDK Deals suite pricing on Windows legal, legitimate license keys. And let me see, I see a bunch of friends here in the chat all hanging out. There's our good friend Buster contributing 10 pounds, says hello, Carrie and Marlena and everyone in the chat. Where the temperature in Edinburgh, Scotland is 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 20 degrees Celsius. All the best from Bonnie, Scotland. And remember, Bonnie means beautiful. That's right. Thank you, Buster. Paul O'Brien contributes €5. He says, hello, Carrie and Marlena. Looking forward to tonight's stream. I believe Paul O'Brien is in Ireland. Why is it a euro? He's in Ireland. Maybe a pound? In for a euro, in for a pound. Avery Ramsdorf, I think, watches us from, you in Germany? Contributes $1. Well, maybe not, because that's US currency. We've got viewers all over the world watching live. No pressure, Carrie. Sir from the Net Computer Repair says hello. Old Man 55 says hello. Mark Baggett and Eric P. Essential Working Too Hard. Joseph Neal Construction. Alan Lindus. Chris Johnson. R2 Rasenin. Carlos Hernandez. Alhaj Tepej. Bob R. Garfield Rupe. Joseph Neal. Jason Gillespie. Patrick Rousseau. Sue Cool 98. Welcome in, everybody. Chris Smith. Hello, hello, hello. LRCX says hello. Tim Teal. Kelly Stewart, our good friend Kelly Stewart there in Northern California. And Ray Sudbury and Martin Wolpers. And probably a few others I haven't named, but don't take it personally. I'm just trying to move quickly. Everybody will get a turn eventually. So don't, please, I hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings if I left you out. You'll get your chance, I promise. David Herzog says it's 70 degrees here in Milford, Ohio. Hello, Carrie, Camera Girl in chat. TGIF once again. I know how everybody says, thank God it's Friday, but you got to realize from the day you're born, you only get a certain number of Fridays until you die. And so every time somebody says, thank God it's Friday, I think it's important to take a minute to realize that's one Friday less you have left. So make the most of it. That's all I'm saying. Make the most. I don't want to be dark, but I want to motivate you to say, hey, you know what? The reality is we don't know how many Fridays we get, but each one we get is one less we have remaining. So make the most of it. All right, that's what I'm going to do today because I've been wanting one of these Minisforum NAD9 since the day it came out, as I mentioned, and I finally got it. It was a little bit of a drama when I ordered it. DHL lost the package, and that was a nightmare dealing with DHL. And then Minisforum was going to have to file a claim once DHL opened a case. Then they said, oh, we can't find it. Then they closed the case. Then Minisforum can file the claim because this is not cheap. And as soon as Minisforum went to file the claim, all of a sudden DHL found the package. And then it was at my door. And now, 6 or 8 weeks after I've ordered it, here it is. One of the benefits of ordering from Amazon, of course, is that, at least if you're in the United States, is Amazon is shipping most of the time, if it's Amazon Prime, from a local warehouse. So you don't have to wait as long as I had to wait. You'll save money if you order from Minisforum direct. And of course, if you're outside of the United States, that may be the best way for you to order. But within the US, if I would have ordered this from Amazon, I would have gotten it much faster. I would have paid a little bit more. And then I'd also be able to return it. I don't even know how Minisforum would handle returns, but if you guys have worked with Minisforum directly with their online store, I'd be curious to hear what your experience is. I hope it's as good as their computers. All right, Richard Collin says hello. Eric Lopez says hello. Shamim Kajveras joining us from Sweden. is here. Mats Olof Rickardson joining us from Sweden. We have 2 people from Sweden. Awesome. Chris Garrett says, I did not know DHL was still in business. Well, Chris, if you're not ordering things from outside of the United States, you probably would have no reason to use DHL. They're primarily used, at least here in the States, for overseas shipments. They're the leader in that. Nobody compares to them when it comes to getting stuff shipped from, especially Asia. DHL is bang on. They do a great job, usually. This is the only time I've ever had a problem with them. Nick Caffrey with a 10-euro contribution says, hello, Carrie, Marlena, and chat from Ireland. Oh, another member from Ireland. Welcome in. Slancha, my friend. And let's see. Mats Olof said, today, the world's biggest cycling exercise race starts from Motala, Sweden. They will cycle 315 kilometers tonight around our second largest lake, Lake Vättern. Around 15,000 participants this year. Holy cow. Never even heard of it. Dennis Paulson says, hello from Michigan. Ah, my home state. Hello, Dennis. Hello, Terry. Hello, John Williams. I want to show you the website. Let's go over to Minisforum website and let's talk about why I'm excited about this, right? It should make sense to you. Or maybe it won't. But nonetheless, let me go over to the Minisforum website here. Oh, I put the wrong link in the video notes. Okay, that's fine. I'll fix that. That's for the next Minisforum review. Okay, so let me go to the Minisforum website. And hopefully I have one of these coming. This is a cheaper version of the NAD9, a less expensive, slightly less powerful version. You'll see they look very identical. The HN2673. It does show that the HN2673 costs more money here, but this is bare bone. Okay, so this is normally $679, and it's on sale right now because they're having a special. But I ordered the bare bone version of this, but you can get it with RAM and storage and an operating system with plugs for the UK, Australia, and the US. And if you're in Europe, you will click here to go to their European catalog. If you're in Great Britain and Ireland, please click here, and that goes to their different websites for the different countries. They have different products available for whatever reason. So the Neptune series, the NAD9, is an Intel Core i9-12900H. That's 14 cores and 20 threads with integrated Iris Xe graphics built into the CPU. It can crank up to 5 gigahertz. Well, this sounds a lot like the Core i5-13500, doesn't it? Which has been awesome in video rendering. I wonder how this is going to do. Intel Thread Director, that's part of the chip that dictates which of the cores get used depending on the task, if it's going to be a performance core or an efficiency core. It's got 4 air vents on it. Windows 11 pre-installed if you do order it as in any other configuration other than bare bones. It is upgrade friendly. Generation 4 M.2 slot. It's got room for 2, yes, I said 2.5-inch SATA drives, and it's dual channel DDR4. It is not DDR5. And of course, the biggest DDR4 SODIMM you can buy is 32 gigs. And since you can only put 2 of them in there, you can only go to 64 gig because nothing else is possible with 2 slots currently in June of 2023. You've got 6 performance cores and 8 efficiency cores. Boy, this sounds an awful lot like the 13500. But this came out before that. And they don't have a 13th gen version of this out yet. But this is really a content creator's dream. Cinematic quad 4K display. Yes, we can run 4 monitors at the same time out of the box with this bad boy, all at 4K. Plenty of power to go around. We've got an HDMI port, another HDMI port, and 2 USB Type-C ports that can all do 4K at 60 hertz simultaneously. Now, they do say up to 2 terabytes here. I believe this is incorrect. I do not believe a limitation exists. I think a 4 terabyte will likely work in here, as will an 8 terabyte. I think they just keep carrying over old information, and I will make them aware of that. We'll double check it as well. You can see where the 2 SSDs go if we wanted to add 2.5-inch hard drives or solid state drives that are SATA. And it's got a little bit about the cooling system and heatsink they're using and air vents. And taking a look on the ports, we get an RJ45 gigabit Ethernet. It's not 2.5. Oh yeah, it is. It is 2.5. Yes. 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port, which supports DisplayPort and data transfer. And duplicated below are 2 HDMI ports, one above the other. Then we've got 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A ports, the 2 blue USB ports. Then we've got 2 USB 2.0 Type A's. That's good for keyboard, mouse, things where speed isn't that important for data transfer. And we've got our barrel connector for power. On the front of the unit, we've got a pinhole to reset the CMOS if you're playing around with overclocking. We've got another USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A up on the front. Headphone output, microphone input, USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C that only supports data transfer, but it would also support, this will support display out as well. I don't know why this one says DisplayPort here and this one doesn't. Because the only way we can get to 4 monitors. Oh, I see. You have to use the 2 in the back. So you cannot hook a monitor up to the front one. I see. And then our power button down here at the bottom of the unit. I think I like the power button at the bottom better than putting the power unit at the top. I think it's less likely going to be accidentally pressed. It comes with a little stand so you can lay the unit flat if you want, or you can put it on its little base. It does screw down to the base, so it's going to be very secure that way and take up less space on your desk. I like the vertical positioning of it personally. In the box, we're going to get our power adapter, power cord, the SATA cable to hook up SATA drives, some screws for the base, obviously no VESA mount. This is too big to be mounted behind a monitor. Owner's manual, and of course the unit itself. And this unit's been out for a while. I've been coveting this for some time, so it was all I could take before I finally caved in and ordered it. All right, close-up camera girl. Are you ready, or do you need a minute? All right, go. You do that, and then we're going to be using. Just so you know, if you're interested in ordering this from Amazon, they have multiple configurations available here. In fact, you'll see there's the unit down here, the NAD9. There's a NAD9. This has a bunch of different Minisforum models with different configurations, all on this one Amazon page. So just so you know. And let's see, what do I have over here? This will be the memory I'm going to use today. You've seen this has been my go-to memory for some time now. The Team Group 64 gig for $97.99. It's 3200 speed. It's a screaming deal. Very good memory. I've never had any of it bad so far. Today's still young. And then we're going to use the Beijing. I know this looks like it says Rain Shana, but that's actually the letter F with the little red top. And this is the letter G, not the letter A, with the little curve being the like a red comma. So Feng Xiang, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a really, really good NVMe drive. We've got read speeds of 7,300 megabytes per second. And it's got a 10% off coupon, bringing that price down to about $82 for a 2 terabyte Gen 4 NVMe drive that uses the same components as all the big name brands. Same controllers, same NAND chips. I'm not selling these to customers yet. I'm still in the evaluation period, but I've got about 10 of them. So I'm going to really work the heck out of them. They're so inexpensive and they're so fast. 7300 on the reads and up to it's 6800 or something like that on the writes, 6600. Okay, so ready for the close-ups?
Ready.
Okay. We go back over to close-up camera. Come on over. Here we go. Easy PC Remote Solution said, I bought from the Minisforum store, no delivery problems. Awesome. That's what I want to hear. Mark Gaines has contributed £2. Says, Carrie, check your email. All right, Mark, let me look at the email here real quick before we do our unboxing. Oh, Gary Tatum sent $20 via PayPal. He says, here's some support for the content. Right on. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Sarge Tech sent a $5 Amazon gift card. Right on. Thanks, you guys. Let's see. Mark Gaines sends an Amazon gift card of $75. Oh, that's very generous. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mark.
you, everybody. Appreciate it.
We're looking at, Camera Girl's looking at an RGB gaming little mini PC from a company we can't seem to figure out how to get a hold of. It's like $1,000. We might just buy it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
The way it looks is different.
You seem to be infatuated with it. More on that later. Paul M contributes $5. He says, thank you, Carrie, for the Windows 10 Pro key. Well, thank you, Paul. Thanks for being a member. As I tell all my members, if there's anything I can do for you to show my appreciation for your membership, email me and ask. The worst I can say is no, right? So things like Windows 10 Pro keys, I get those very inexpensive. And if you're a member of the, not a subscriber, but a member of the channel, those are the people with the gold badges next to their name. They're paying $9.99 a month. YouTube takes 30% of it. But nonetheless, it's helping keep me free of sponsorship other than just the discount deals I'm offering you that I'm not shoving down your throat, like Windows and Office keys, RoboForm, Instant House Call, things of that nature. And that way, like for example, I had a company reach out yesterday and said, would you review our mini PC? And they're telling me how to review it. And I said, well, I would review it. Oh, and they're telling me how much they're going to pay me. And I said, how about you don't pay me, just send me the unit and I'll review it. And they said, that'd be great. We only ask that you send us the review so we can approve it before you publish it. Okay, I'm not making a commercial. So I said, no. The reviews are done live, so they're honest and genuine, and they are what they are. So if you don't like that, move along. And they said, oh, no, we're good. And then immediately I got a tracking info for another mini PC from a manufacturer we've never worked with before. And I hope they're a good manufacturer. I hope they like my different style that I present the reviews in, because they said they have a lot of different mini PCs they'd potentially like me to review. So we'll see. Could be a start of a beautiful friendship. We'll see. Any of that I can do to avoid having to spend money for the content means there's more content available for you guys to watch. So the members make that possible, so I'm not so reliant on that. So I can take it or leave it. Avery Ramsdorf contributes a $5 Amazon gift card. Thank you, Avery. All right, should we unbox?
Unbox.
All right. Well, first of all, take a look at the back here. You'll see they've got little tabs indicating which configuration we have. Now, this is a bare bones model, so it's going to have 0 gigabytes of storage and RAM, indicating it's bare bones. And then all of this just kind of reiterates what we've gone over with the website. Let's see how it looks. Oh, I've been looking forward to this. Is this going to be my birthday build this year?
Yeah.
I think it just might be. Documentation. Check this out. Shouldn't be a surprise. It's going to look just like it did on the website I just showed you. But, having it in person, being able to see it up close and personal. Oh, cool. Whoa, look at that fan there. I guess you could have a total of 4 of these fans. Seems like that would get loud. All right, back down into the box here. We've got a power cable. Oh, thank goodness it uses, I love when they use a standard PC power cable because I have so many of them. We've got an HDMI cable, which is weird. Not sure why they give us one, but I'm not complaining. There's our stand and the screws for the stand. And there's our massive power brick here. And you can see the voltage output in amperage. Now, once again, it doesn't say Minisforum anywhere on here. And this would drive me crazy because this barrel connector may fit in other electronic devices and could blow them up if it's not the right adapter. So I will take like a label maker and I'll write Minisforum or NAD9. And if I'm feeling ultra lazy and I don't want to get the label maker out, I get a silver indelible Sharpie marker and it'll write right onto the black. And I'll put something like NAD9. Never want to confuse this because you can destroy electronic items by using the wrong adapter. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just, we'll leave the stand out. We'll leave this. And let's see, what order did this go? This, and then it went like that. We'll set this over there. You didn't even jump. Wow, you must have trust. That was a trust toss. All right, I'm gonna just set that over there. That over there. Put this over here. Now, how do I open this? Looks like we've got 4 screws on the bottom. Is it just 2 screws per side? Which side will I open? This is the CPU side, so it's got to be this side, because if you look down in there with the camera, you can see the M.2 ports and such. So this is the side we want to remove. And I'm going to guess that taking out these 2 screws takes out this one side. So I shouldn't have to take out those other 2 screws. But maybe I do, I don't know. That's why these videos are live, unscripted, unrehearsed, because as a real working computer technician, I am called to go out into the field to work on whatever the customer has. And I have to be prepared to figure it out. I don't like a video game in that way, where you have to figure out how to get through the level. All right, so that are the 2 screws, and there's this little, oh, look at that. It's got a little nub. I guess you push down on the nub. Maybe? Maybe not. I open this. I'm sure the documentation tells me if I could be bothered. Oh, maybe it slides up. Ah,
Cool.
that's, yeah, you don't want to break it. Don't use brute force there. Let's take a look inside. What do we have? We've got a fan controller. I guess that's to add another one of these fans over the M.2 drives. This looks like an MXM video card socket, but I don't see where the video card's output would go. Okay, so this is not this. When I was looking through, oh. So somehow we've got to figure out how to get under here, because that's our Wi-Fi adapter down underneath this piece here. Our front I/O is all on this circuit board. Cheap, price-wise. Want to make sure I use the right word here. Inexpensive. I shouldn't say cheap. They give us, look, this tiny screwdriver. And the little tiny screw. All right, get this opened up. I cannot believe you get 7,300 megabytes per second for $81, 2 terabytes, Gen 4. That's at Amazon. Newegg. Search Newegg for a Gen 4 drive that's 2 terabytes. That'll do 7,300 megabytes per second. See what cheapest prices you can find. Is that our M.2 screw that long? Is that right? Was that long? I guess so. Now, I'm starting to wonder if maybe I shouldn't put a little heat shield on this. We do have a little bit of room, but I'll wait and see if it gets hot. If it gets hot, you'll know because the write speed will go down the toilet. And Amazon has dozens of different kinds of heat sinks you can get for M.2 drives. I don't normally buy them with heat sinks because when I'm buying motherboards, they already have heat sinks on them. That's aesthetically more pleasing. It matches the rest of the board and it works as heat sink. So only on rare occasions, like if it's a super cheap motherboard and they don't have any covers over the M.2s. And even then, if it's Gen 3, it's probably not a problem. We start running into heat issues when we get into the high performance models. But that's it. We've essentially put everything together now. Now we can just put this back in. If you decide to order directly for Minisforum, they are having a 3-year store anniversary. Their online store has been out or available for 3 years, and they're celebrating with some specials. Should we put the base on? Let's put the base. It's all about that base, Oh, we got plastic to peel. Oh, it's kind of a rubber, grippy rubber surface there. Interesting. Why do I have 6 screws? It's like I would only need 4. Well, I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like you can start the screws. It's tight. They've got a little bit of Loctite on them from the factory, so they won't vibrate themselves loose, although I don't expect there would be much in the way of vibrations from this, but we'll find out. And I guess they just give us 2 extras. Oh, and more plastic on the bottom of the stand. So we'll start those like that, and then at the bottom of the stand, you'll see we've got some more plastic. This is intended to be removed. I know some of you like to keep it like new, but the problem is it'll yellow and bubble, and it won't look like new until you sell it to the next person, and they peel it, and then it's going to be like new underneath. So I'm sure the next person will appreciate that you didn't enjoy it while it was new, and they can. So now we've got these little keyholes. Be able to put that in there like so. Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Why doesn't this line up correctly? Am I missing something? I think I'm supposed to be on the other side. No, I'm on the bottom. I am officially confused.
Where's that?
Didn't go in the way I thought it was going to go in. Take the screws out.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me. I thought I knew what I was doing. I've never done this before. Yeah, really? Couldn't tell. What am I missing? I mean, there are these 4 holes here, and then these are these holes for mounting the side panel. So what exactly will that? Oh, maybe it goes the other. Oh, see, I had it right. I just had it the wrong direction. I was fine. So this is why I shouldn't listen to people, especially not camera girl. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Enjoy the silence. Okay, note to self, the bottom only goes on one direction. That's just weird. So now, it seems pretty obvious to me. I've got to put the side panel on first. We'll just assume I've done everything correctly and that all the parts are good. Something is keeping us away from seating. Oh, that's interesting. So it has these 3 clippy deals, and they've got to fit into the slots. And then you'll see it slides into these slots this way. So it is correct that you would put it on essentially, in many ways, like a mini computer towers, where the cover kind of goes on most of the way. Find where the slots fit into the grooves on the sides. One side, there's the other side, and then slide it down. And this is the tricky part, is figuring out how we align those bottom clips. Maybe I have to push down here. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, there we go. Felt something. There, okay. Now that's in. Now I can put these 2 screws back in. And this screw as well. These don't have to be super tight, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that that does not align at all unless you flip it around the other way. I sure would have appreciated an arrow or something that indicated which way is the front. That's twice in a row I have tried to put it in. Not upside down, but 180 degrees away from the, but I guess it's not a big deal. It's pretty obvious. Little momentary confusion, but that's just another day in the life of being Carrie. And that is our complete build. That's the fastest build ever. We ready to install Windows? What's it going to be? Windows 11? Yeah. All right. Some of you are saying I was buffering, missed the memory and drive install. Well, according to OBS, I have not dropped any frames. So let me just ask the audience, did anybody see the RAM and the drive install? Because I've heard from people who didn't. Everybody's saying they missed it. That's pretty interesting. All right, well, we'll open it up again. No worries. I might have to start recording these streams locally so when I repost them, it says that I buffered all the way through. It seems pretty universal. Martin says he saw the drive go in. Says it was buffering. All right, well, I appreciate you letting me know. I'm not going to take it back apart just yet. We're going to keep moving forward, and we can revisit that. So let's see. I need the power adapter. So we'll plug that in here. And I need a keyboard and a mouse. So we'll grab this one, and I'll plug into one of the USB 2.0 ports because I don't want to waste a fast USB port on a keyboard or mouse. Make sure these are turned on. Missed the RAM install. Okay. Well, that's easy to show you again. It's really super simple. And I appreciate the feedback, guys. We'll come back to that. We are live, and the show has to keep going. So here we go. Power. I'm going to leave the network unplugged for obvious reasons. I'm going to grab my Windows 11 installation media. Oh, I forgot they released updated ISOs, I'm told. I'm going to have to update these later. There's my Windows 11. And then I need an HDMI cable to go into the capture card so we can see this thing. I'm going to plug in it, basically plug it into all of the viewers' monitors. How many viewers do we have? The only guy in the world that's plugging his computer into 300 monitors at the same time. All right. 355 monitors at the same time. Mm-hmm. So if I come around here, you want to hit the power button for me? You can do it. Yay! All right, let's go to HDMI input. It says no signal. You're good. Close-up camera. You can shut that down. Well, now, hopefully, it will train the memory here in just a moment. I'm going to put myself back on camera 1 and put myself in a corner. We haven't missed anything. It's still training. It's dead quiet. Like, I don't hear anything. It looks like it's starting to post. There it is. There's the Minisforum logo. And it should start booting now from the Windows 11 installation media because the SSD we put in there is brand new. It has no partition, no format, and obviously then no operating system. So let me get rid of myself here for a moment and let's go back to just looking at the output of this mini PC. Let's say next, install now. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know I always, without exception, always install Windows 10 and 11 the same way. Always tell it I don't have a product key. We'll put that in later. And the product key I will buy for this will be a Windows 11 Pro product key. The reason for that is it's only a couple dollars more than home. So why not just take care of it for a couple bucks difference and not have to worry about upgrading it. Removes that option off the table. We agree to the license agreement. Would you always choose custom install? There it sees our 2 terabyte Fengjing drive and hit next. And now it's partitioning this drive, formatting those partitions and copying over the files it needs to install Windows 11. John Williams says, don't upset Camera Girl with those daggers. He's obviously referring to your fingernails. James Bond wants to know, is there really an i9 in that thing? Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? This should be a super fast installation of Windows. Thomas Backenstow says hello. Hey, welcome in, Thomas. Mr. B508 says hello, Carrie, Camera Girl, and the excellent chat room members. Chris Garrett does not want me to do the RAM install over. We've seen it dozens of times. That's true. That's true. But it is easy to get to, whereas the M.2 drive, you know, I had to remove that piece to get access to it. Okay, we're ready for our first reboot already. How crazy is that? Here we go. You'll see it says no signal when the computer is resetting itself, and it'll do the post again. Only this time, it should boot to the internal SSD instead of the flash drive and continue the installation. If we get the setup screen again, we know it booted from the flash drive. But now it's clearly booted from the SSD, and we no longer need the flash drive installed. We can remove it now if we want to. I usually just leave it in just because, and I wait until everything's done. But you don't have to. Everything it needs to complete the Windows 11 installation was copied over during that first process. So once it reboots the first time, the flash drive is no longer needed. Joel says, that's fast. Yes, indeed. Martin Postema says, good evening from the Netherlands. Hey, Martin, welcome in. I'm going to move the documentation and extra screws over there with the empty boxes for the RAM and storage, so I keep everything together on this. John Science Rock says hello from New Jersey. Welcome in, John. Do Yeah says that's pretty neat and sweet. It better be. I mean, I have been really coveting this for a while, been wanting it. So imagine how deflated and gutted I'm going to be if it turns out to be disappointing. I don't think it's going to be disappointing. If I had an inkling or an ounce of doubt, I would not have ordered it. I paid for this with your money. Les Stevenson said, Kerry, this is one quick machine. Scotty wants to know how fast it boots. My 10-year-old build to your specs boots in 13 seconds. Well, I'll tell you what, for the most part, Windows is going to boot the exact same amount of time, give or take a few seconds. So I don't know if testing how long it boots is fair, because once you reach sort of the pinnacle boot time, going any faster than that, it's a limitation of Windows itself and how long it takes the BIOS to get past the post screen. So it's probably going to be about anywhere from 10 to 13 seconds, I would guess. So I always answer these questions the same. We're going to say I don't have internet, continue with limited setup, and I don't have to do any registry tweak here. I can just go ahead and create a local user account now. I leave the password field blank so it boots right to the desktop. Turn off everything but location settings, and by now you should know why. I keep the date and time set for me so I don't have to do it myself. That'll automatically adjust for daylight saving time, as well as just the clock getting a few seconds off over time. So for that reason, I leave location settings on. I also will tend to, search Google the way I do on my phone, and I'll say, where's the nearest Pizza Hut? And without location settings on, you have to tell it nearest to what. With location settings on, you can say, nearest to where I am. So I like the location settings. Some people don't. They think it's a privacy issue. Nobody gives a rat's behind about folks like us that aren't public figures or, rock stars, politicians. So they just want to sell you stuff, And anyway, you do you, regardless. Starshine says, I remember having to put a tape in the tape player to play a game on a VIC-20. Yeah, I did it on the Atari 400 the same way. Had a cassette drive. Took a half an hour to load Pac-Man. Worth it. Okay, we're just about done with our install. There it is, finished. Anybody run the time on that? It was quick. I'm going to go ahead and remove the flash drive now because we're done with it, and I'm going to plug the internet in, and we'll hit Windows Update. So far, so good. Let's see, let's plug in the internet. Whoops. Well, hopefully I didn't just break that camera. Tripped on a cord. We'll go to Settings. We'll go to Windows Update and check for updates. Oh, that goes on top of that computer. It's very important that stays with that. Okay. Try. We couldn't check for updates because you aren't connected. So what that implies to me, let me go back to camera one. Some of the new 2.5 gig network cards are not auto-detected by Windows 10 or 11. And when that happens, you either have to connect via Wi-Fi, or you can do what I do, and that is you can use a USB, yeah, I've got a Type-C right here to Ethernet adapter, which should just auto-load. Or you can use another computer and just go to Minisforum and download the driver for the network card. We got really spoiled when Windows installs our drivers for us. But when there's a brand new piece of hardware out, it's understandable that Windows hasn't yet got the driver available. So that's what you get for getting the latest and greatest stuff sometimes. But back in the day, you know, you had to do that for everything anyway. So in fact, I got to do it for one thing. Doesn't really bother me, but it throws a lot of beginners out. You know, they're like, how come my network card isn't seen? They didn't realize they have to put drivers on because they never had to in their lives. They've always just let Windows do it. And it will eventually be recognized by Windows. But because we're so early in the technology, or the technology rather is fairly new, the Windows update hasn't been updated, ironically, to recognize it. So Windows Update, once we're on Windows Update, may in fact have the driver for it that our installation media did not. So once we go through Windows Update, we should probably be able to use the network card without having to manually go and get the driver, I'm going to guess. And what does the screen say here? Full screen. It's downloading. Okay, so we're going to let this run. Over to the chat room and see what you guys are talking about. Mr. B508 contributes $10. He says, here's my late fee. I love this channel. Carrie is our consumer reports of computer hardware, plus giving practical real-world knowledge. Thank you. Mr. B508, thank you for getting it. Somebody left a question on a video I did the other day, and they wanted to know something that I answered at least twice within the video. And I kind of scolded them for it. I said, the answer to your question is this, which I've also said in the video twice. They said, well, the video's too long. I couldn't be bothered to watch it. Okay, I'm sorry education takes too long. Stay stupid, you know, stay ignorant. You want to take shortcuts? You're not cheating anybody but yourself when you do that. So you'd be surprised. Well, I was surprised how often people complain the videos are too long. Oh, my school day takes too long. I'm going to complain to the teacher and the principal. School shouldn't take this long. And the fact is, when you go to college, you won't make that same complaint when you're paying for it. So here we are giving away free education, and people are complaining that we're trying to educate them. What are you going to do? So when I see a message like that from Mr. B508, I appreciate that, because you should know not everybody gets what I'm doing here. And what makes it worse is they complain. How dare you try to educate me? How dare you take the time to get into the details so I can have a better understanding? Just answer my question. Dance, monkey, dance. Bob R says most questions can be answered with a search. Well, that's true too. However, sometimes people want the answer the way Uncle Kerry gives it, and I respect that. I appreciate it. Sometimes the answers can be difficult to understand, so I try to make things more easily digestible and find analogies and other similarities and things in life that we can associate to explain the technology. And it may not be 100% accurate in a comparison, but if it can get you the concept in your mind, then any further pursuit in detail then can be resolved with a search. And then the answers may not seem as confusing. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. That sounds good to me. Don't look at me like that.
Favorite peanut butter.
George Schleikia contributes $10. Thank you, George. George Perugia says, Kerry, welcome to the NAD9 club. I have no issues with the PC. You will not regret it. Thank you, George. I appreciate hearing from somebody else who owns one, who has an unbiased opinion. Do you now have a new term, TLDV, too long didn't view? It should be TLDL, too long didn't learn. Les Stevenson said, Gary, your streams are not too long. If I have to go, I'll usually watch it on playback. That guy was not fair to you. Well, the only people who complain 100% of the time are the people who have taken it for free and who have never given anything. They've never supported the channel. They don't even have a kind word to say. If you look at the people who complain, they are almost universally not people in blue. They're not people in green. It'll be somebody in white. It'll be somebody whose name you've never seen before, who comes in and instead of adapting to this community, they want the community to adapt to them. And when it doesn't, they get angry. So I'm battling a portion of viewers, a very small portion, by the way, but it's never ending. It's been that way since day one. They just don't get it, and they're mad at me because they don't get it. Or they're mad at me because I didn't deliver the information they wanted it delivered, packaged a certain way. You're going to teach me. You're going to teach me for free. You're going to teach me the way I want you to teach me, and you're going to do it within this time limit. Otherwise, I'm going to complain. I'm sorry. What's in that for me again? You get my view. I'd rather not have your view. Why did you think I wanted your view? I want views from people who get what I'm doing. Not all views are wanted. It's harsh, right? But as long as you're considerate, as long as you're nice, you're all welcome here, and your views are wanted. It's just the people that are jerks are entitled. The whole entitlement that implies that I want their view. Where did they get it in their head that I wanted their view? Where did they get it in their head that I care what they think because I don't even know who they are? Maybe start by, I don't know, introducing yourself to me and explaining to you why I should give a rat's behind about what you think. But that also happens from being a regular here in the chat. I start to recognize your name. I start to recognize certain people regularly have very good information. Zvi Manor has been very helpful lately. So his name comes to mind. And more than just him, but that's the one that comes to mind because most recently he helped out like with the 13-inch screen that goes inside that ASRock. And he's also had some other bits of information that were 100% dead on. So I know when I hear something from Zvi that I listen. And again, not just Zvi, others as well. But that one's just most recent. It's on, on the top of my mind. And that's because he has established himself, right? So now I care. Somebody comes in, they don't even so much as introduce themselves or explain why their opinion matters. That's all entitlement. And so one of the things I love about my Monday videos, every Monday at 1 o'clock, I do members only videos. And those videos are only watchable, viewable by the members on the channel who pay $9.99 a month. And we get to hang out in a much smaller crowd, maybe 40 people tops. And we get to talk to each other just as we would if we went out to dinner or went out to lunch. It's laid back, relaxed. Everybody's cool. And again, compare high school to college. People pay to go to college. There's not a whole lot of hooky being played, skipping school when you're paying for it. People in college want to be there. People in high school don't necessarily want to be there. And, if it's public school, they're not paying for it. So it's a very different when you're a teacher, it's very different from teaching high school, where you've got students who don't care, who don't want to be there, versus teaching college, where as an instructor in a college course, you're like, hey, you want to show up late? You're going to miss information. You don't want to show up at all? I don't care. You're the one paying for it. I'm paid the same either way. It's kind of like that here on YouTube, the people who watch for free versus people who contribute. And not just contributing financially, but people who contribute in the chat room by being a part of this amazing community. You know, that counts as a contribution as well. Just so you know. Did we finish all these updates? Oh no, it's still installing one up here. Okay. You know what? I spent way too much time talking about this little insignificant portion of viewers when the vast majority of viewers are awesome like you guys. I mean that. It's not just pandering. It is, but it's more than pandering. I mean it. Sometimes my honesty is too honest. What email do you use to get Amazon gift cards? I use, put it on the screen as soon as I find it. I moved it all the way down there. Move it up. Now I've lost it completely. Oh, here it is. Yeah, let's move that up, up, up. Yeah, if you want to send an Amazon gift card, please use the email address on the screen. I appreciate that very much. All of the money that's contributed pretty much goes to Amazon anyway. And in this case, I ordered this directly from Minisforum and covered that with PayPal contributions. So thanks you guys for making this possible. Do pay attention to the spelling. It is critical that you spell my name correctly, or I will not get your contribution or your email. And if you enjoy this kind of content, you can let me know by, well, clicking the thumbs up button underneath this video, click the subscribe button, and click that bell, notification bell, so you can receive notifications every time I'm live. As I mentioned, every Monday at 1 o'clock Pacific time, there's a video that's live just like this, but it's only for paying members, and it's so we can hang out, just me and the supporters, and would love for you to be a part of that. If you can understand, if you can do the math in your head, right? If it's $9.99 a month, YouTube's taking 30% of that. The government's going to want 20% of that. I get about half of that every month. So $5 is pretty much what I'm getting. So if I have 100 members at $5 per month, that's $500. That wouldn't even cover the cost. Well, I suppose it barely covers the cost of this bare bones unit. Then I still have to buy the RAM and the storage and pay for an operating system, which is cheap at VIP CDK deals, but nonetheless, it's all costing money. And that just makes one video. There's still 29 more days in the month. So anyway, the kinds of videos I make and the frequency within the time frame that I can make videos is contingent upon how much money I've got to buy the stuff I need to make videos about, or if companies send me a computer or some product to review. That also is very helpful, and we have a little mixture of both. But that kind of comes and goes in fads. There may be months that go by where I don't have any products sent to me for review. And so I have to get creative with the subject matter of the videos aren't necessarily what I want, They're not like, I'm not doing everything I wish I could do because of the financial constraints. So I have to get creative with other things I want to make videos on that are much cheaper to make. So that's my challenge to work through, but your support is, well, let me put it to you this way. Without the members, half of these videos would not be made every month. However many videos I've released in May would have been cut pretty much right in half, meaning there'd only be like 2 videos a week. So hearts out to the kind folks who are generous enough to support the channel that make it possible for the other 99% of the viewers who aren't contributing to enjoy the content for free. You owe thanks to those folks with gold badges next to their name, or the people who you see offering super chat contributions. And that's why I always shout out a thank you to each one of them when they do that, because it's never expected, but it's always appreciated. All right, are we ready for a reboot yet? Looks like we are, so let's restart it. Randy Roblowski says, great, I sent it to the right email. Thank goodness. Well, listen, if for any reason you sent it to the wrong email, you just log into your Amazon, go to your account, and you can fix that. It's not a big deal. Peter Lakecock says, Carrie, sending big hugs across the pond. Thank you, Peter. I mean, Buster. Still planning to come out to Phoenix, Buster? Luke Greenia said, my wish is that I could give more. See, so Luke Greenia, who's been watching the show for a number of years, contributes like 20 bucks, 25 bucks, but he does it over and over and over and over and over again. And it's got to have amounted to, it's got to be over $1,000 by now. It adds up. So the fact that you give anything at all is more than 99% of viewers do. So I appreciate any contributions, but I don't expect them, just so we're clear. Randy says, please check your email. All right, Randy, we'll check while we're waiting here. Let's see what it says. Ah, yes, $10 Amazon gift card from Randy. Right on. Thank you, Randy. $25 from Robert Ritchie. He says, this is for support of the channel. Thanks for what you do so well. And that's Bob R. in the chat room. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. What do you think of this little computer, camera girl? Turn your microphone on. Just gotta figure out how the switch works.
Glasses on, I can't see close.
I'm the opposite. Without glasses on, if my glasses on, I can't see far.
Yeah, I know. That's why we work so well together.
That's right. Between the two of us, we can navigate our way through
Anything.
a maze.
We're awesome.
What do you think of this computer?
I like it a lot.
There's no RGB on it, though.
I don't care.
What? Who are you and what have you done with the camera girl?
I not only like the way it looks, but I think that would be a good replacement for my media PC.
But this isn't for you.
Yes, it is.
Probably right.
Don't forget Robot's foot.
You keep treating me like this.
And you're not going anywhere.
You're gonna show up one day, and you know where I'm gonna be?
Right here.
I'm gonna be right. I'm not stupid. I'm gonna go here. Alan Lindos contributes $7.77. Thank you to our good friend Alan, living out there in Casa Grande, Arizona. Carrie says, it looks like you need a new cold Gatorade. I'll buy it. Hey, right on, Alan. Thank you. I think you're right. This one's feeling a little lukewarm. Little Luke Greenia warm. See, because it's green Gatorade.
Uh-huh.
All right. It's Friday. Come on. Now, maybe when this reboots, maybe my network controller is going to work now. Let's find out. I don't know. Let me go full screen on my side so I can see things better. All right, so I'm going to unplug my little USB Type-C to Ethernet adapter here. And we'll plug it into the built-in Ethernet adapter. And we'll see if the little globe in the bottom right corner turns into a little monitor. It still may not have loaded the driver, but it does take a minute. So while it's doing that, let's take a look in the device manager and see what we're missing. I'm sure there's going to be items here. Oh, I got to use the right mouse. Yeah, so I'm looking at that little globe, and it should have turned to a screen by now. So I'm guessing we still don't have the network card driver installed. Let's go to the device manager. Oh yeah, we're missing Bluetooth, Intel, SM bus controller. Okay. Okay. So here's what we do to solve that. I'm going to put the USB adapter back in. The Wi-Fi seems to be working, but I don't want to connect it to Wi-Fi. And then we'll see this here in a minute. It should turn to a little computer screen when it gets an IP address and connects us to the broadband. There we are. And let's type in, let's see, bring up, start without data. Oops. Let's go back. Let me go back. Okay, continue without data. Uncheck this box, confirm, and start browsing. Okay, very good. Now it should open normally. And I'm going to type in Minisforum NAD9 drivers. Connection is not private. Well, that's not good. We're going to go there anyway. Oh, doesn't exist. All right. Try this one. No, it's not going to work. Support Minisforum. Let's try that one. We want NAD9, should be in here somewhere. Right there, NAD9. And know what these are. Is there an English site I can choose? That took me to their Amazon page. Translate. Back. Well, I'm just going to download this. I don't know. That one. That one. That one. That one. And I'll grab that one. There's only 5 drivers, so we'll throw them all in. Why not? And the camera's kind of covering up the download progress so you can see it. I'll remove camera 1 there for a moment. Yeah, it looks like it's in Japanese, doesn't it? There's probably an English link. I'm just too lazy to search for it. It's close enough. We can make do. Again, as a field service technician, you really have to hit the ground running. You don't have a lot of time, not if you want to make any money. You want to be able to very quickly find a solution to the problem, make sure you get it done right the first time. And the sooner you can get it done, the sooner you can help the next person. The more people you can help in a day, the more money you make. And around the wheel goes. All right, let me go back to full screen over here. And double click on that. That's apparently the driver for the LAN, the built-in LAN. Drivers for this were successfully installed. That was quick. Okay, let's go to the next one. Just working my way up from the bottom. Extract all. Extract. Double click. Set up chipset. Yeah, that should take care of the SMI controller. There won't be anything at the door. That That beep was from a different camera. Oh no, wait a minute. No, it's still the other camera. Accept, install. Usually when it's a package delivery, you'll hear 3 beeps in a row because they have to walk by a camera in the front door, and then they walk by the same camera again when they go back. They're supposed to. Cameras are doing their jobs. We'll restart later. Close that. Close that. Let's go to the next one. Oh, this is the serial I/O. I definitely know we're going to need that one. Double click. Set up. Yes. This platform is not supported. How's that possible when I got the... There's a README file I could read if I could be bothered. Wasn't I just complaining about people that can't be bothered to educate themselves, and now I'm doing it myself? We might need to do a reboot first, that's all. But I want this download to finish, and then we'll restart. That's a big file. Is that a video driver? I don't know. Almost done though. We'll get our reboot, and at least then I should be able to plug in the network card. I should be able to unplug the USB network adapter and plug the network cable directly into the built-in 2.5 gig port. Okay, this warns us the file could be dangerous. We're going to keep it anyway. Keep it, got to tell it twice. We'll extract this one. Bada boom, bada bing. Close, close, close. And restart. Here we go. I've not gone back to Windows Update yet. Those asking, I'm in the middle of installing the rest of the drivers before I continue going back to Windows Update. But it's entirely possible that Windows Update would have offered the driver under optional updates. Ooh, that booted quick. All right. Let's go back to serial I/O driver that gave us complaints. Said we didn't have the right platform. See if it says it again. Platform is not supported. Let me take a look at the device manager here. Oh, well, clearly we don't need it. It's already been installed. And then I think the other driver was, that big one, I think was a video driver. I can't think what else would have been that large. That's different. Wow. Okay, whatever that was all about. All right, so we go over to camera 1. Let's unplug the Ethernet USB adapter and plug our internet directly into the built-in LAN. And that should work. If we look at the bottom right corner, we should get the globe changing to a screen, a little monitor. And it did. So that is working. At what speed? Let's see. Let's go network and internet settings and Ethernet here. Yep, 2500. We're at 2.5 gig. It's working. Great. Back to Windows updates. Man, as soon as I clicked the mouse, It's already responding like that. Here's our display driver, Bluetooth driver. Oh, there's an Intel net right there. That would have been the driver we wanted. Retry all. Advanced options. 2 optional updates are available. Same 2. We'll grab them. Isn't that interesting? This is ending in .8, and that's dot. Completely different versions. 11328, 22. I don't know what's up with that. But it looked like it succeeded on everything that time. We'll check for updates one more time. Let me grab my utilities flash drive and we'll run the typical things that I run. So we'll grab that, plug that in the back. We're all caught up here. Let's grab install VLC. Okay. Next, install. And while that's installing, let's copy over Uncle Carrie's Windows 10 optimizer. There. And let's go to PC testing software and let's grab, do Cinebench on this if we wanted to. I mean, this is a content creator's ideal computer here, as being as small as it is. CPU-Z. I don't need Crystal Disk Info, but Crystal Disk more portable. Hardware info. Prime 95, just to torture the heck out of it. Okay, that's everything we need on the flash drive. Okay, close that. Unplug my flash drive and set it aside. And we'll run Uncle Carrie's Windows 10 optimizer now. Hit apply. You'll notice you'll see access denied. That's just turning off indexing on files. If the files are in use, they can't be manipulated in that way while they're being used. And then we restart the computer. And it's just that quick to make all those little tune-up changes. Now, I don't know how much this really helps Windows 11. It's really designed for Windows 10, but I know it won't hurt anything. And you can buy this. It's very inexpensive. It's under 10 bucks, I think. Go over to, well, look in the video notes below this video, and you'll see a link if you want to purchase it. And there's no activation required. You can run it on as many computers as you want to run it on. And my only request is you don't copy it to and give it to people. I don't care if you want to run it on other people's machines. I'm simply asking you don't leave it on their machine. If they want it, please encourage them to pay for it, because again, that revenue will go towards more videos and even further development for a Windows 11 optimizer if I can afford to pay for it. Let's see. Crystal Disk Mark. Let's see how we're doing with our Fengjing Gen 4 NVMe 2 terabyte drive. Here we go. We're going to run all the tests. And let's see what you guys are saying in the chat room here. Paul Garrett wants to know if I can use 2 capture cards on one PC. Depending on who makes the capture card. The Magewell cards, I think you can fill every slot, theoretically. They have a little dial to signify an identifier for each card. With regards to the Elgato or other brands, I don't know. I've never tried it. Look at that speed, 7,000 megabytes per second, 7,100 to be more precise. That's a screaming deal for that Beijing 2 terabyte drive, I'm telling you. Now, if our write speeds go in the toilet, we know we're having a heat-related problem, and we'll have to get a heatsink for it. But if the write speeds are up in the, 6,700 range, 6,600, when they go to like 150, it gets completely terrible. You know you're having a heat-related issue with your solid-state drive. So let's see. Yeah, this computer is no joke. This is a beast. It's a tiny beast, but a beast nonetheless. This is a Gen 4 NVMe drive. Larry Wood joins us and says hello. Welcome in, Larry. Hello to Starshine and Chris Smith and Joel Flores, Andy Kane, and David Ice. All right, let's see. Peter says, yeah, he's coming out to Phoenix. It all depends on his brother. Well, that's perfectly understandable. Paul M says it's a Wolverine. Well, it will be if I take it with me to Michigan. Michigan Wolverines. All right, let's see what our write speeds are now. I'm most interested in those two top numbers that show the absolute peak performance that's possible under ideal situations, because you know it'll never go faster than that. So a little bit low, 4,600. That may be indicative that the drive's getting warm. If you're getting numbers that are really, really low, then the drive's getting hot. And there's a difference between warm, hot. Warm may have a slight degradation in performance. Hot will have a massive degradation of performance. I think we will put a heatsink on this because they're cheap, quite frankly. There's some pretty crazy heatsinks out there for M.2 drives. Some require a lot of space above the drive, which we don't have in this mini PC, but they do have lower profile ones. And they even have them with fans, and there is a fan controller on here. That gives me ideas. Still, 4,600 is nothing to shake a stick at, but this drive, I know from personal experience, can get over 6,000 on the writes. Still, it's fast. It's really fast. And it's a bargain. When you add up everything, it's about $800 all in on this. That's a lot of computer, a lot of storage, a lot of RAM, a lot of processor, in a little package. And if this computer lasts 10 years, that's $80 a year. That's, what's 80 divided by 12? 640, 60, 72. $7 a month is your cost of ownership. You won't need to upgrade anything. I mean, pretty much that's it. That's all you can do to it. I mean, you could put a 4 terabyte drive or maybe an 8 terabyte drive in it, but why? That's a lot to back up. It's a lot to lose. I'd say plug in a USB external drive for added storage. If you want to turn this into a gaming computer, just buy an external GPU and plug it into one of the USB ports Type-Cs in the back, and you get yourself a very respectable gaming PC. Chris Smith says that computer would last me 20 years. I wouldn't, because likely there's going to be some very big security concerns regarding status of the internet in 20 years. The hackers just get more and more clever. All right, it went to sleep, so let's change the power plan so it won't do that anymore. Yeah, I was going to sleep or turning the monitor off after 5 minutes. That's crazy. Save those changes. Close that. There's our final numbers there, and I'm happy with that. I think we can get it better with a heatsink, though. All right, let's take a look. Speaking of heat, how is it going to handle Prime 95? Let's bring up the hardware monitor. Should be in here somewhere. So HW Info is a free portable application. No installation is necessary. So you can run everything I'm running for free You just have to get it yourself. That's what Google is for. Okay. Also, let's just check our specifications. I'm going to right click here, go to properties. Let's identify that we do have a 12th generation Intel Core i9-12900H. It's idling at 2.5 gigahertz. It'll crank up to 5 gigahertz when it turbos. We've got 64 gigs of RAM. 63.8 is usable. The other 0.2 is being used by our integrated graphics card built into the CPU. Windows 11 Pro is installed, version 22H2, and we're fully updated. We are not activated, however, but we are in the never-ending trial that Microsoft allows you to have in perpetuity. But I will activate it once I know everything's good. We're off to the races. We're idling in the 30s here, which is good. Let's start Prime 95. Oh, I just closed it, didn't I? Prime 95. Start that. And I'm just going with all the defaults on Prime 95 26.6. I leave all of these settings at default, click OK, and it's going to slam on all 20 threads, 100% usage. And let's see how hot this will get. Voltage. Yeah, it's already cranked up to 60 Celsius. We're going to watch that maximum, see how hot this gets on maximum. Drive temperature reported is, we want to keep that below 80 degrees Celsius, the drive temperature. Anything over 80 makes me a little nervous. Again, not on the CPU, but on the drive, and we're not doing a drive benchmark now. Something to watch when doing a drive benchmark. That's what I wanted. That's what I was looking for this whole time. Okay, Paul O'Brien contributes €2. He says, please test if it will do more than 2 terabytes of storage. Hey, you know what? That'll be a good excuse to open it up and show you guys the drive install, since apparently it buffered during that time. I'm sure it's going to be just fine. And Paul wants me to check my email. All right, Paul, I will check my email while we're waiting here. We do have a little clock running down at the bottom of this test, so we can tell when it's been 20 minutes, or if we hit over 85 degrees on this, where it says maximum right down here, we'll keep an eye on that. Roy Umatsu contributes a $20 Amazon gift card. Hey, Roy, thank you. Francisco Brave sent $300 via Zelle. Holy cow. Who's Francisco Brave in the chat room? That's crazy generous. Thank you for that. Paul O'Brien sends a $10 Amazon gift card. Hey, I'm enjoying Fridays. Everybody's generous on Friday. Let every day be Friday. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
You're in a good mood and you're bright and cheerful.
I'm in a good mood and bright and cheerful because everybody in the chat's in a good mood and bright and cheerful. I'm just reflecting back what I'm getting. I'm just a mirror. I'm a mirror man. It might have something to do with it. All right. Temps are still, this thing dead silent. I don't even hear the fan at all. There's some heat coming out the top of it, though. I'll tell you that. I don't think, well, maybe. Certainly couldn't hurt. It'll have to be a low profile heatsink, but they do make them low profile with a little fan. Well, don't tell them that. They don't know I bought them. Okay, I bought several NVMe heatsinks last night of different shapes, sizes, and designs to see if they're doing much of anything. Some of them are ridiculous. And Noctua's got one that's practically the size of this case. $110 or something. Fanless, passive. I don't know who's got room in their case for that. Andy Kane says, your turn to buy pizza, Carrie. Oh, that was Frankie B that sent that $300 via Zelle. Frankie's such a generous guy. Thank you so much, Frankie. Alvin Shaver with a $2 super chat. Right on. Thank you, Alvin. Paul says the RAM install, we saw the drive. Oh, you saw the drive install, you didn't see the RAM install? Well, when we're in there, I can just show you the RAM anyway. It's just the same as any other dual socketed stacked SO-DIMM that you've seen like in these little HP computers and other mini PCs as well. So that's exactly the same, but thank you for the clarification. I'm easily confused. I want to see what keeps setting that camera off over there. Oh, apparently some birds are fighting. You hear them?
Yeah, I hear it.
Interesting. Yeah, the cameras do have a human setting, but what if there's an alien? No one will believe. Oh, it's windy outside and it's causing the trees to move. So, yeah. No, I'm not going to put it on human. Because you never know. Sometimes if somebody's way off in the distance and you have it set to human, it may not trigger the camera alert. Versus if you just say any movement at all, trigger it. I prefer caution. Paranoia. Just because I'm not schizophrenic doesn't mean they're not out to get me. Right. Sarge Tech said, Friday is Uncle Carrie's payday. I didn't know that yesterday. I'd have started the show earlier. Kid. All right, we are, 8 minutes in? Where's our clock speed? CPU clock. Where's our CPU clock? Oh, we could probably turn XMP on too, huh? Just thought of that. Somewhere in here, I should see frequency. I see voltage, I see temp, see wattage. Ah, here we go. Or efficient, they call them effective clocks. Where's my performance cores? 4 clocks. Yeah, we're darn near hitting 5,000 on those performance cores. And then the E cores, the efficiency cores, obviously they're lower power. They don't run as high of a frequency because they're lower power. And that's what the Intel Thread Director does, is it assigns the different tasks to the best core for that task. Patrick Russo says, hey, I'm part schizo. Please do not make fun of us. You like how we use the plural in I? Temps are fantastic. 10 minutes in, 10 minutes to go. I ran out of Gatorade. I have to go get another Gatorade. Gil Garcia says, did you order those pieces that you're sending out to the veterans? Yeah, I did it right after the show. Both of those gentlemen are receiving a brand new, what was that? The Morphine M9? Is that the one we did? When we did that giveaway. I think it was the Morphine M9. We didn't do the Chewy one, right? We didn't give any of those away though, did we? No. Yeah, they'll get theirs. Those two gentlemen should receive them. Originally, Amazon said Monday, but now it looks like it'll be maybe Sunday. And that was mostly thanks to our friend Oystein in Norway, who more or less covered it. Between Oystein and Mark Gaines, their two contributions covered the total cost of sending those two systems out with sales tax. And I much prefer that because then I don't have to pack it. I don't have to ship it. I don't have to keep track of the tracking information. Amazon does all that automatically and it's all built into the price. I'll tell you, that's the way to do the giveaways. The only downside is it doesn't help empty out all the extra stuff in Studio B. So I might have to do some giveaways to get rid of some of the stuff. It's getting a little hoarding,
Yes.
hoardingly in this place up in here. Okay, we're just encroaching on 12 minutes. 12 minutes. And 72 looks like the hottest it's gotten so far. I mean, that's freaking fantastic. Shamim says, I didn't know that you could connect a GPU externally in order to make it a mini PC for gaming. Yeah, if you've got a fast enough USB port, and usually if you've got a USB Type-C, it's typically fast enough. Just the Type-C itself is usually USB 3.2 or USB 4 or Thunderbolt. And obviously the higher end that is, the better the performance you'll get from the GPU. That will bottleneck a high-end GPU, just so you know. And your GPU enclosure will be bigger than the computer. It needs its own power. So it's inconvenient, in my opinion, to do that. But if you want to, you can. I want to see how this thing's going to render videos for me because it's dead silent. I should be hearing a fan, and I got nothing. It is dead silent, even when it's working 100% full out. All 20 threads. Okay, now I think there's a package being delivered. Yeah, there's the second beep, and then there's going to be a third beep here in a second. Ready? Second. There it is. And we're in nearly 14 minutes, 6 minutes left on its 20-minute torture test. And this thing is, it's almost scary how cool it's running. Even when I build a computer with a liquid cooler, they don't run this cool this far into the test. So what voodoo are they using over there at Minisforum? Just one thing? Open that up. Is that one of my heat sinks? Let me see it.
Right.
No, let's show the audience.
It's the cool one.
Let me go full screen on camera one.
You
You want to show them? Go step in front. Go step over there. So Here's one of the heat sinks for M.2 drives I ordered. Now that's going to be too tall to fit in here, but that's going to need power to run that fan. Literally and figuratively. They're cheap too. They're like 20 bucks. Yeah. So I've got them of various shapes and sizes. Most of them will not have fans because those fans will eventually die. That's going to lead to a support call. And you've got to have a fan header somewhere close by. So that won't fit in this build, but I do have some lower profile ones coming. And that's for future content. And if you want to know where's that money going that you guys give, well, here's where some of it went, and there's more on the way. I think I've got about 7 or 8 of these coming, all different. It may be that just the real simple, cheap ones may be just as effective as the bigger ones. Or the difference may be so insignificant as to not justify having something so much bigger. And, you know, they even have them with RGB, which, no thank you, I'm not interested in that. Not doing it. Oh, Garrett wants me to run the Heaven benchmark. Yeah, we can run. I mean, it's an old benchmark. I'm sure it'll run. Let's go back to putting me in a corner again and see how we're doing the test. Crazy. 72C is as hot as it's ever gotten. And we're now, is that 16 or 18 minutes in? Till, yeah, 16 minutes in. A few seconds from 17 minutes into the test, 3 minutes remaining. Yeah, I think we're sailing through this like it's nothing. This is an extreme torture test and very unrealistic. But as a machine that's really designed for content creators, if anybody's going to push the machine hard, it's going to be a content creator, especially if you're rendering out 4K or 8K videos, if they're 2 and 3 hours long. And I do that. I'll take this video, I will put it in Cyberlink Power Director, I will upscale it to 4K and render that out. And then I'll upload it over to Mini PC Reviews channel that I have. That's nothing but the Mini PC Reviews. And those files are 20 to 60 gigs in size. They take a number of hours to upload. They take a number of hours for YouTube to process them. But it's the same content you're seeing here, but in 4K, it's upscaled. And that upscaling makes the computer work really, really hard. And because the videos can be 2 to 3 hours long, sometimes even longer than that, it's an extreme torture test, but at least it's real. It's not simulated like this. But I get self-assured that it can pass this 20-minute extreme torture test, that anything anybody throws at it, whether it's me or a customer, they're not going to have a heat-related problem. Larry is asking me to turn off the noise filter so you guys can hear the environment. Sure, I can do that. There's the noise suppression off. And my air conditioner is running, and you could probably hear that. This is making no sound at all. I do feel heat. All the way up here, I can feel heat coming off of it. Of course, the closer I get to the top, the hotter it's getting. Woo, it's warm. It's working. I'm gonna turn that filter back on. That noise drives me nuts. Bobby Warren says, you bought a mini PC. Thanks from Carrie. Which one did you get, Bobby? Okay, 20 minutes. The hottest we got was 72. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. All right, I'm going to stop this test. Test, stop. Okay, and then watch these temps, how fast they drop. Beautimous. Okay, the Heaven benchmark. I have that on my utilities. Wow, that is warm. Holy cow. Obviously, it's not too hot to touch it, but you can tell it's been working up a sweat. All right, PC testing software. Heaven benchmark. I haven't run this in forever. Should we do the Cinebench? Oh, now I've probably started it multiple times. License agreement. Okay. Accept. Run. See how well it does on Cinebench. Yeah, Randy's one of the gentlemen receiving one of the giveaway computers. It's a Morphine M9, and he should get that on Sunday. Brand new, shipped from Amazon. Bobby Warren said he bought the Ace Magician. Which model did you get, Bobby? Hey, Mitch Morrison's joining us in the chat. Welcome in, Mitch. Mitch wants to know what baseball player has the shortest commute. The catcher, because he always works from home. Dot, 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 dot. I saw the new Star Trek Strange New Worlds season started yesterday. And they got Carol Kane in it. I love Carol Kane. I hope she's going to be a regular in the cast. She's almost plays like a Yoda type of a figure. They're doing a good job, I think, with the Strange New World show. And that show I really like called Black Mirror, which is a modern day Twilight Zone. They released all the episodes of the 6th season yesterday. Haven't had a chance to check them out, but I always enjoy that show. Even when I don't enjoy it, I enjoy it. It can be really creepy. Carol Kane, Kane, yes. Bobby Warren said Ace Magician. I said, which model of Ace Magician? And he said B-Link GTR7. That's not Ace Magician. So the GTR7, yeah, I'm still having video output problems, but I'm pretty sure it's a video driver problem. It's not a BIOS problem. The folks at B-Link did send me a couple of updated BIOSes. They've not made a difference. And the screen appears fine during boot up. It's only when Windows loads, and if we remove the video driver and just stick with the Windows standard VGA driver, it's fine. So I think we're going to have to wait for AMD to update the drivers. And Bobby says he doesn't have any problem with his. Well, that's good to know. If I plug the unit straight into like the portable monitor, it displays fine. It's when I go through the capture card, I'm having problems. And even when I plug it into the monitor, sometimes when I switch modes, the monitor says the signal is at a frequency it can't understand. So there's something weird happening with it. So we'll have updates on it. It's just a little bit, it's a brand new product. I think it's got a little bit of teething problems, and it's something kind of unique as a content creator. That's a problem for me, but probably would not be a problem for you guys. Mitch says his motorcycle's working great. His last trip was 2,700 miles. Yeah, that is a long time to be on a motorcycle. Edward says the i9-12900H uses only 45 watts. Oh, that's a good point. Frank Jimmy says the new episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds was hilarious. You know, if it's got Carol Kane in it, there's going to be humor. I love Carol Kane. I think she's great. I love seeing that she's still working, and what a fantastic role for her. Love it. You got to turn your microphone on so people can hear you. Cinebench runs a few times to get an accurate assessment, and it will stop on its own. Let me step up to the screen here and see what it says. I guess it runs for a certain amount of time. It's got 5 more minutes on this test. Right now, we can see we're about 4th in the sample performance, up against Threadripper, Xeon, and Threadripper. That's good company to keep because those are very expensive, high-end processors. We're at the top of home-based processors. I hear AMD is supposed to be bringing the Threadripper back for consumers. They kind of made it a server chip only, and I think they're reversing that decision if the rumors are true. Jeff H says, thank you for the help the other day with the computer. I guess I'm not getting the orange one. So Jeff ordered a B-Link, and he wasn't sure what the order status was. And when he emailed him, he didn't get a response. And he waited a couple days, and then he emailed me, said, hey, can you help me get a response? So I reached out to my contact at B-Link, and they immediately responded to Jeff. Apparently, there's a little confusion. Jeff wanted the orange GTR7, is it? And the orange one's not made yet. It's not available. So I think they told Jeff he can either wait until the orange one comes in, or he can pick one of the colors they had. And I don't know which color you went with, Jeff. I know you mentioned silver was, or the gray was your second choice. The orange one is pretty cool looking though, isn't it? Taranga says, do you have any plans to review the UM790? Yes, I have a UM790 Pro that arrived. Where is it? It's a heavy little box. They just ship me a brick. UM790 Pro. This one has 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 gig SSD. Review is coming next week. I'm saving it. I'm not opening it or doing anything with it. It'll all happen live on camera. Maybe I'll get to that Tuesday or Wednesday unless something else comes up. Definitely by Friday for sure. Taranga said I would be interested in the comparison between the two PCs. Well, I don't know if it's fair to compare Intel and AMD. My preference, I prefer Intel personally. I don't have as many driver problems and RAM compatibility issues. But if I was looking for a mini gaming PC, then probably Ryzen would be the way to go because their integrated graphics are better for gaming than Intel's currently. but I don't really have much time for gaming. What I do for a living is my game, basically figuring out what's broken and how to fix it. It's a fun game and it pays me. So yeah, if I was a gamer, I'd probably be looking at a Ryzen-based system as far as a mini PC goes, because I'd be using integrated graphics, and yeah, AMD is whipping Intel's butt as far as gaming with integrated graphics goes. But it's still like that RDNA 3 integrated graphics. It's still a new chip, and yeah, pretty sure the driver issues are. And again, I don't have these problems with Intel, so I did try using an AMD Ryzen for a content creation PC, and it just had problems with it that were just, you know, I kind of forgave the first one and the second one and the third one, but by the fourth one, I was done. And I just went back to Intel for my stuff. But that's just my preference. Each their own. Depends on how you're using the machine. Let's see. Let me go full screen here. How many minutes do we have left? It should be almost done. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. So 10,258 is our score. That's the multi-core test. And then if we do the single core, I think usually Intel outshines AMD on single core tests, but maybe my information's old. Let's go ahead and start this one as well. How long is it going to run this for? 10 minutes? Yeah, it runs it for 10 minutes, so we'll let it run and we'll get some final numbers, get official numbers here. In the meantime, while we're waiting, if you have any questions, this is a good time to ask. Bikeman says, I'm on the fence, either going with a Ryzen for my next desktop build, or just keeping my Intel 10700 longer. Maybe just upgrade the power supply and GPU. He's using a GeForce 1660 Super right now. 10700 is not a bad chip. It's still a very fast chip by today's standards. But again, depending on how you're going to use it. Sarge Tech wants to know how the new TP-Link Wi-Fi 7 router is doing. It's awesome. I love it. I love it. I have no complaints yet. Thank you for asking. There's 320 of you watching live right now. If you're new, welcome in. And if you're not new, welcome back. I cannot get over how quiet this is. It's not making a peep, nothing. Not even the whooshing sound of a fan. It's just dead silent. There is substantial heat coming off the top of it, though, I will say. But that's what it's designed to do. That's where you want the heat coming out. And there's no smoke, so it's not too hot. If there's smoke, it's too hot. Oh, you can. Paul Garrett said he was looking to get an RTX 4090 graphics card, but he almost fell over when he saw the $3,300 price. But that's Australian dollar. That's a 3090 Ti. He mentioned a 4090.
That was still quite pricey.
I guess NVIDIA's teasing the 5000 series cards now. You haven't even got that one out of the box. Peter Laycock is saying good night. Hey, Buster, thanks for hanging out with us today. Have a good night. We'll talk soon, I hope. Nelson Contreras says, great video, Carrie. Good to see you again. Hey, Nelson, thanks for hanging out with us today. We still probably have another hour of this to go, maybe. At least a half an hour, because we'll run the Heaven benchmark on it once we're done with the Cinebench test. And then we can try a bigger flash drive. I should just grab that 8 terabyte drive, right? Since we're waiting. Why not just go to the 8 terabyte Gen 4 drive? Because the 4 terabyte drives I have are Gen 3. And obviously, if it'll see an 8 terabyte drive, it'll obviously see a 4 terabyte drive.
Right.
So I got my Oyen Digital 8 terabyte drive, $799.
Mm-hmm.
That's about $200 cheaper than everybody else. John, Science Rock, contributes $1.99. He says, I agree about Strange New Worlds and Carol Kane. She is fantastic. I just think of Princess Bride. Have fun storming the castle. Billy Crystal and Carol Kane. Everything Carol Kane is in. She's got a funny voice. And the way she talks is funny.
She brings her characters to life.
She brings her characters to life.
Yeah.
More so that she brings uniqueness to the characters.
She brings them to life.
Quirkiness that is humorous, delightful.
She brings them to life.
Garfield is checking out. He says, good night, everyone. He's got to go rest his knees. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with us today, Garfield. Get some relaxation in. Paul Garrett says Gen 3 is good enough for most people. Oh, I completely agree, Paul. But this is an exercise in what's possible, but still reasonable. I can almost guarantee this will overheat without a heatsink, this 8 terabyte drive. But for our purposes of just testing, I'm just going to put it in there momentarily. We'll run the test, see that it works. And then I'll put this original Fangjing drive back in. And when I get the other M.2 heat sinks in, there's supposed to be more coming today at some point. If I have one of the low profile ones, I'll check what our temps are on the Fangjing when running Crystal Dismark, and then put the heat sink on it and check it again and compare. If I'm getting a 10 degrees Celsius or greater temperature differential, then it's worth putting on. If it's anything less than that, it's probably just an ornament. Sometimes people buy this stuff for the looks of it. I don't. I buy it for it to do a job specifically, other than to look pretty. So, but that's just me. John says he remembers Carol Kane in Scrooge with Bill Murray. Yeah, she was hilarious in that too. Les Stevenson says, goodbye, Carrie and Marlena. I'm going to go rest. I'm still getting over a nasty flu virus. Have a nice weekend. Stay healthy. Catch you on the next live stream. As a reminder, I've got a 2-part video created by Planet Cryos. And I will air part 1 tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Will be a premiere. I will air part 2 Sunday at 1 o'clock. And he's building in one of those wooden cases you have to put together.
Is it really wooden? It's more like cardboard.
No, it's wood. It looks like something you got from IKEA. You know, it's in a flat box.
It's pretty neat,
you have
though.
to put it all together.
It's weird and different.
It looks super cheap. It looks like cardboard. But he did a great job with it, and we appreciate that he's allowed us to air his content here on the channel so you guys can enjoy it. Sue Cool says, I did try the Samsung 980 Pro with a heatsink in the NPB7 Mini. It got way too hot fast, so back to the drawing board. Yeah, well, especially with the mini PCs, you don't have a lot of room for a heatsink on those M.2 drives, and they do tend to have the heat in a very concentrated little area there. Okay, did our test finish? No, this test is still running. How much time does that have left? About 2 minutes. Okay, almost done. Almost done, and then we'll install Heaven and run the Heaven benchmark. Patrick said he saw those videos and they're epic. The wood is like from a model plane kit. I think it's balsa wood. He's not sure. Paul M mentions Greg Salazar also did the wooden case. It's more particle board than solid wood. Yeah, I think Paul's got it right there. I think it is particle board. But yeah, you can always subscribe to Planet Cryos' YouTube channel. In fact, you can go and watch his video now. You don't have to wait. But that will be the plan for content this weekend. Darren Gilholm provides a YouTube link. Thank you, Darren. But remember, we will be airing it here. But if you can't wait and you want to show Planet Cryos a little love, be sure and click like and subscribe over on his channel. Daniel wants to know if I'm using the Asus Flash Store 6 as my NAS. Not yet. No, I've not migrated over. I've been so busy lately, I just haven't had time. But I will. We'll get there. Some folks are having buffering issues, but I can tell you my OBS stream is perfect. We have had 0.0 drop frames. So maybe something on YouTube's end, or maybe something between you and your ISP, I don't know. But yes, hitting the refresh button on your browser could help. Sometimes clearing out the cache and cookies out of your browser can help as well. Or sometimes using a different browser helps. Sometimes people put these add-ons to their browser, the ad blockers and things, and they can create all kinds of havoc. Well, it was working fine before. Yeah, well, that's typically how it is. Things keep changing. Developers are countering the ad blockers. The ad blockers are countering the developers, and it's just a constant going around in circles with updates. Or anyway, maybe just try a different browser. Could be one of your add-ons, one of your extensions. Usually that's what's to blame when these kind of problems happen. Let's take a look at how we're doing here. All right, this is our last run. Hallelujah, right? And then we're right up on the top of that list, aren't we? Well, that makes sense. If an i7-1165 G7 is their top, or we should be way above that. So the high score they're showing is 1532. Remember, this is single core rendering. That's why it's visibly slower. Excuse me. Got a little hiccup there. Just one core doing all the work. Almost done. I have to say, I am not disappointed. This is everything I hoped it would be and more. I was prepared to deal with some fan noise, and I'm delighted that there is none. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Nothing. Sarge Tech says it's definitely YouTube. They keep interrupting the stream and showing ads, and then the screen freezes after the ad. So I don't have any mid-stream ads being placed on this video. So it should not be doing that. Maybe when you just join, right? So opening a new tab isn't enough. In other words, if you're having a browser extension issue, you're still going to have the same issue on a new tab. You have to open a different browser. So if you're using Chrome, open Edge. If you're using Edge, open Chrome or Firefox. If you keep opening the same browser, you're likely going to have the same problem. So you know. And again, I will say it one last time, it is probably a browser extension you have installed that is causing this problem, despite that you don't want to hear that. I'm assuming, because people they always deny it. No, it'll always be the problem, always. This is a big test. Oh, went through those real quick, didn't it? Spencer Medlin contributes $10 via PayPal. Thank you, Spencer. And Mats Olaf Rickardson sends $10 via PayPal. Thank you, Mats Olaf. Almost done with our test. Finished. It gets finished. I got to walk up close so I can read it. 1724 is our final number on that. All right. So that's quite a distance away from that 11th gen i7, isn't it? Nothing to sneeze at. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, so next, let's see. I need this mouse. Close out this test. We'll go back over to my flash drive. Oh no, I already copied it over. I just have to install it. That install fast enough? Oh, I probably have to put on the distributable. There's one. This thing's fast. Love it. Okay, benchmark away. Here we go. Been a while. me put myself somewhere else here. I mean, considering this is not intended as a gaming PC, it's making light work out of this old benchmark here. Can't remember how to start the benchmark. I know you can let this play through. Is there a button I can press? Curious where our numbers are. I'm trying to keep the camera from covering them up. Of course, I have to put the camera where it's going to cover them up. Chris says, I was searching Google for the i9-12900H processor to check the price, and I couldn't find one. That's because it's a laptop processor that's soldered onto a circuit board. You cannot buy this processor unless you're a manufacturer. It's not a socketable processor. Any processor that ends with the letter H, made by Intel, or ends with the letter U, made by AMD, those are not processors you can buy. They're processors used in laptops and mini PCs. Low power. Patrick says, you asked me to reach out to you via email about the Beelink Mini PC. I got your email, Patrick, but the Beelinks, obviously I can't send them until I make a video with them. You should know as well that I have not made a video with them. You saw a members only sneak peek of what's coming, and none of those machines are working. So when I have a video and I have one working, you will receive one. I bought some Beelinks that are not working, that somebody was selling 6 of them. They're an older model, and they came out to about $30 a piece. And I thought, hey, I'll buy those and diagnose and try and repair them for content. And I gave my members a sneak peek and a sample of a diagnostic of one of them. And Patrick was in that video. And I said, you know, I don't want these computers. If I can, any of them that I fix, I'll give them away. And Patrick said, I'll take one. And I, okay. I said, email me. And then, of course, he did. And he's like, hey, did you get my email? And anyway, that was what all that was about. But yeah, I do have some diagnostic repair videos coming up showcasing whether or not I can fix these. They're very disposable. There's nothing repairable, nothing upgradable. Everything, and I mean everything, is soldered on. There's no socketable M.2 drive. There's no socketable RAM. Everything is soldered onto a board so they can build it as cheaply as possible. And these would make good, like, streaming computers or just average browsing the net. They're already a couple of years old. That's why they were so cheap, and they don't work. So I thought, you know, if I could get even 2 of them working, I will break even on the price. And I think I can get 5 out of the 6 working is my prediction. I was hoping that I, you know, could maybe use one for donor parts, but given that everything's soldered down, it ain't gonna happen. So because they've got a built-in storage, installing an operating system is not easy on. But if I can get one working, I should be able to clone the OS onto a flash drive and just restore the cloned OS onto the other units that just need an operating system, if that's all they need. All right, there's our final Unigen Heaven benchmark score. Not too bad. Back to full screen over here. And I'll hit escape, escape. Quit. Okay. And we're done. So with that done, whoops, wrong, grabbed the wrong screen. Does anybody have any other questions for me that I can answer about the Minisforum NAD9? Pretty fantastic. Oh, I got to try the 8 terabyte drive. Okay, let me go ahead and shut it down. Not quite done yet. Shut it down. Shut it down. Okay. Well, that shut down quick, didn't it? Let me go full screen on camera 1. And I'm done with my flash drive. Wow, that's warm up here. Want some toast?
Yeah.
Yeah, the light's off. Let me unplug power. Flip this over this way. You want to get in here with that close-up camera?
Yeah. Ready.
All right, come on over. Uh-oh. Close-up camera's got no signal. Check the cables plugged in into the... When I knocked it down, I think I unplugged it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this should be much easier to take apart the second time, right? What I can do is just loosen these. But keep the screws in and just slide this away, I think. So I'm still holding it in. Oh, that was out too far. All right, so which side did I want to take off? I guess that's where the two 2.5-inch drives go, is on this side, huh? Okay, let's open it. Take out that. Take out this. It's toasty. I'm feeling it.
Not too bad. We start now. Oh yeah.
You can tell it's
Yeah,
been on.
it's hot.
It's not like it's burning hot, but you can tell it's been working. So slide this back and then lift it out. See, that was easier to say. Once I've done it, not a big deal. Make sure I don't have anything plugged in here that's going to interfere with taking this out. I need to wear my glasses so his eyes can see. So here's the thing. We could put those are our antennas for the Wi-Fi. We can put a little heatsink on this if we want to. Our RAM is under here. So if that was the part that you missed, just slide the bottom RAM in first and it goes in on an angle and you push it down and the metal clips, grab it, hold it in. And after you put the bottom one in, then put in the top one. Let's take out our Beijing drive, which is running fantastic, by the way. There's our Wi-Fi adapter if we wanted to upgrade the Wi-Fi. And here's our Oyen Digital 8 terabyte drive. I don't know if I left an operating system on this or if I blanked it out. Let's put 8 terabytes in here and see if it'll recognize it. But you see there's a fan header right here. So I could get a heatsink with a little fan, you know, that's horizontal and plug it in. What?
Got one.
Well, I've got one coming.
What about the one you just got?
Well, that one's too tall.
Hear about that?
Yeah, because this piece is going to sit right on top. See? So we only have that much room there. Now, because I'm just testing this and I'm not keeping it in, I'm not going to put this piece back in. This is all we need to do for testing. Then we can plug power back in over here. And our power button is right here. And then let's go over to the HDMI input. Okay, you're clear. Oh, it does have an operating system on it. Look at that. So it is false with regards to the 2 terabyte limitation because this is an 8 terabyte drive, as you can see here with this big number, 8 trillion bytes. You can put a 4 terabyte and 8 terabyte. Yeah, there's no such 2 terabyte limit that they imply exists or they say is a limit on the product page. And I will inform them that that information is not accurate. They're kind of underselling the device. It's way more capable than they say it is. That just makes it more of a bargain. Shut this down and I'm going to put it back the way it was. Turn on camera 1 here. Unplug power. That's all I needed to test. So I spent about, after tax, I think about $860 for this 8 terabyte NVMe drive for the sole purpose of doing exactly what we've done. And that is testing the manufacturer's claims because they just have a habit of copying and pasting the limitations from previous models. So in some cases, it is an accurate limitation on some models, and on more current models, it's no longer true. The 2 terabyte limit does not exist. Now, the Minisforum UM790 Pro, I think that'll take 2 M.2s, and I think they can be put into a RAID 0. And guess what I'm going to do? If in fact what I've heard is true, I'm going to do that. Oh, I can't put that on yet. I got to put this piece back in. Winston Liu contributes 11 Canadian dollars. He says, B-Link SER6 Mini PC, AMD Ryzen 7 7735HS. What are you telling me? Is that what you bought, Winston? Is that what you have? Lawn Dog said, I kind of like the separate I/O board for the back panel. That's not the back panel, that's the front panel. That's the power switch and everything. Okay. These are the screws that hold the front panel in. These are screwing down into plastic, so do not over tighten them or you'll just strip it right out. Just warning you guys. That's a pretty chunky heatsink on there. Holy cow. No wonder why it runs so cool. Look at the size of that bad boy. CPU's under there. Oh, and there's another, so we have a fan header here and a fan header there. So I guess you could add fans somehow. Fan to go on this. I don't know. But I wouldn't want to add any fans to it. Doesn't need them. It runs nice and cool and it runs quiet, and I wouldn't want to ruin that by adding more fans. If it's not overheating, then adding more fans is only going to bring in more dust, dirt, and noise. It's also adding a movable part that will fail over time. So don't add fans unnecessarily unless you just like to waste your time and money and you want your computer to get extra dusty, extra fast. And you like the added noise. This is better than I thought it was going to be. How often do I say that? Joseph Hawkins contributes $5.50 New Zealand dollars. Thank you, Joseph. Just that easy. Super easy to get into. Can I just take a minute to say thank you to Minisforum for not putting rubber feet over the screws? You have no idea how much I hate that. So it's nice to know that, at least in this model, they kept the rubber feet away from the screws. Right, let me turn this back on and make sure I didn't break it, so that it boots up. Let's go ahead and check our boot up time one more time since we have everything all done now. It's all completed. Let me shut it down. Shuts down fast. Okay, start your timers. Let's see how long this takes to get to the desktop. 3, 2, 1, go. I counted 10 seconds. Pretty good. Dan Nilsson says, hello, Carrie, Camera Girl, and everyone in the chat. I just got home from an important soccer game with my team celebrating a 5-2 win. We're in top place. Well, congratulations. Good on you. Nick Caffrey wants to know if I got a bare bones and I put in 64 gigs of RAM and a 4 terabyte NVMe, would it need a heatsink on NVMe? It's impossible for me to predict what you're going to need, your operation environment, and how you use the PC, whether or not you're getting a Gen 3 or a Gen 4 drive. Gen 3 is going to run cooler. So I would say install it without the heatsink, and then see if you're having, when you run Crystal Disk Mark, see if after you, like the dead giveaway is running Crystal Disk Mark and you have these super high read speeds and then like slow as molasses write speeds. That's because the drive got hot on that big read speed test. If that's happening to you, then you'll need a heatsink. If it's not happening to you, then you won't. The good news is, it's not like it's a big deal to open the machine back up and put a heatsink on if you need one. And then you'll get an idea of how much space you've got for how tall of a heatsink you can add. But you can get one of the heatsinks that's got a fan on it, which would be ideal, and plug it into one of the two fan headers inside. Something worth considering. Bajan guy said he counted 7 seconds. So Nick, if you end up getting that, let me know what you end up doing, right? Let me know, does it run fine without a heatsink, or are you going to add a heatsink? And if so, which one? There's a lot to pick from on Amazon. I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you, Camera Girl, also for the amazing thumbnail that she did.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
to my sister for the really cool intro. And a shout out and a thank you to all of the contributors today. So for the super chats, let's talk about those. Solo has been a member now for 13 months, right on. Thank you, Solo. Thank you to Joseph Hawkins, Winston Liu, John Science Rocks, Elvin Shaver, Paul O'Brien, Alan Lindas, George Schloika, MRB 508, Paul M, Mark Gaines, Nick Caffrey, Avery Ramsdorf, and our good friend Peter Laycock, or as we call him, Buster. And then to the PayPal contributions, I always forget these at the end, and then I feel terrible that I want to give people the shout out. Spencer Medlin, Mats Olav Rickardson, Roy Umatsu, Frankie B, and the Amazon gift card from Randy Robluski and Paul O'Brien. And Bob R, Sarge Tech, and Avery Ramsdorf sent Amazon gift cards, as well as Mark Gaines. Wow, that was a worthwhile Friday show, wasn't it? Holy cow. And look at the amazing computer I got. You gonna fight me for it?
Absolutely.
That's fine. I've got, you know what? I've got the UM790 Pro to test. And if I can set that up with a RAID 0, oh, I don't know. With the RAID 0, if it's rumors are true, and I can put 2 of these drives, these Fangjing drives, 2 of them, for a total of 4 terabytes and a RAID 0, with like 14,000 megabytes per second read speeds.
Okay.
Then what are you gonna want?
We'll see.
Mm-hmm. I'll play this game. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. Have a safe, happy Friday. Have a good weekend. Be sure and tune in Saturday and Sunday at 1 o'clock to watch part 1 and part 2 of Planet Crafts' build in the wooden case that some assembly is required in. Very different. Thomas MacT says, great as always, Carrie. Thank you, Thomas. All right, let me find an outro to run here. I think we'll just run a simple outro. We'll run the standard one. All right, thanks for watching. I will see you all live. Well, I'll see members live on Monday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. We'll see everybody else, ideally Tuesday at 1 o'clock during a live stream. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.